So you're thinking about making the move to Sacramento from the Bay Area, and you're just not sure if it's the right one. I mean, a lot of your friends are saying like Sacramento, is that the right move for you? You're looking at your family, your friends, they all live in the Bay Area, and you're just not sure if Sacramento's it. But let's face it, the Bay Area prices are crazy. Los Angeles prices are crazy. Anywhere in California, prices are crazy. You don't want to lose that California lifestyle. You want affordability. You want that house. And for me, guys, 16 years ago, I was in that same exact position. I was renting in the Bay Area. I mean, what I could afford in the Bay Area wasn't what I wanted. And I was kind of just staying in the Bay Area. And if I would have stayed in the Bay Area, it just would have been like living in a small house in an area just to live in that area. And I didn't want that. So I explored Northern California. I looked at Lodi, I looked at Manteca, looked at all these spots. And then I came across Sacramento, the Sacramento area. And for me, it was always just a spot that I would stop at in between going to Lake Tahoe. That was my spot. It was Sacramento, the In-N-Out Burger. That was it. And then I started exploring Sacramento. Started kind of figuring it out. Saw areas like Roseville, like Folsom, like Gold River, where I eventually settled. Looked at like East Sacramento, West Sacramento, all those things. And I discovered that Sacramento was a pretty amazing spot to live. Now, that was 16 years ago. A lot has changed. So in this video, we're going to talk about past, present, and future Sacramento. What I see Sacramento developing into, affordability. Is it even something that Sacramento can use anymore? Because as we all know, prices have gone sky high. Let's talk a little bit about this, and hopefully I can give you a little bit of help if Sacramento is a spot for you, if you should maybe drive up here and take a look at it. For me, it was a great thing. Should have done it a whole lot sooner. I love my house, love my area, love my community. I can't say enough great stuff about Sacramento. And guys, if you think Sacramento right now is good, in about 5 years, it's going to be at a whole nother level with surf parks, new schools, that whole thing. It's going to be really, really amazing. Let's get into the video and talk about it right now. All right, guys, hopefully you're having a very nice evening. I got a little sun on the face and I lost a little of this, but this is growing back. It's a big mistake, big mistake. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Sacramento. And I want all my friends here who are like always tune in. And this is a live show that we do. Derek, we got Pamela. I want you guys all to chime in as well, too, if you can. This is kind of meant for people who are like in the Bay Area, in Los Angeles, and other areas that are like super pricey, and they're considering, making the move. They want California, because California gets a lot of hate out there as far as California goes, but California is one of those spots that is just an amazing place to live. Weather, I mean, it's just a great spot. For me, I've always loved California. There's something that draws you to California. There's something very special about being in California. And for me, I never wanted to leave the state, even though I've moved to various areas for school and whatnot. California has been something that's been near and dear to me. Went to school down in Southern California, but it didn't really, I mean, even though Southern California, the beaches, Santa Barbara, San Diego, just absolutely amazing. Northern California for me was my thing. So I made the move after college to San Francisco, and I lived at Nob Hill. San Francisco was fantastic. Had a great time. Had that fun. What was it called? Union Street Fair, North Beach Italian Festival, all that stuff too. And it was really, really, absolutely a fun time. I grew up in Marin County. And when I was younger, it was actually feasible to actually buy a house. A lot of people were like buying houses there, and it was fine. But then what ended up happening in my location was that house prices just shot up like crazy. For me, I grew up in a different era. The era of like your friends would pool their money together and you'd have some gas money and you'd be able to go out for the weekend or for the evening. It would be fun. And my high school was replaced with like Tesla chargers, and it just became what it was. It was a little bit more of a colder vibe that I felt in the Bay Area than it was before. When I grew up, it was like bicycle riding. Everyone knew their neighbors, block parties and everything too. And where I live specifically, and I saw this happen in other spots of the Bay Area, it became a lot colder, a lot more like people were closed off. People didn't really know their neighbors. Now, I'm not saying that's everywhere in the Bay Area. I'm just saying where I live, that's kind of what happened. And so when I made the move to San Francisco and I was living there for a while, I did enjoy it. I loved going out to restaurants, loved going out and everything too, but it was very, very pricey. But I realized something for me when I was in the Bay, it didn't really give me a lot of money to put in the bank. I just didn't have that money that the savings that could help me with a down payment. And I just felt like I was living paycheck to paycheck. And the idea of saving 20% to get into a house, and then what kind of house would I afford? It just wasn't something for me that was like, it was almost like a live for the now moment, right? The check came in, it covered the rent. Let's keep going. And I see so many people that I talk to over the phone that are in the same kind of situation where they're like, yeah, we did buy, but it is a paycheck to paycheck situation and everything's really, really tight. And you can even hear kind of like the stress in a lot of people's voices when I talk to them about, is Sacramento the right spot? Am I doing this and everything? And then they come out here and they kind of, and then we start the journey. It's not just San Francisco, the Bay Area, it's also Los Angeles and everything too. You can have whatever you want here in Sacramento and the Sacramento area, and you're so close to like Lake Tahoe. You're close to like the Bay Area. If you want to go down there, hour and a half, 2 hours to get anywhere in the Bay Area, you're good to go. But you can also explore Northern California, some of the best scenery in the world. You can go to areas where it's untouched. You can go to lakes. You can go to mountains, you can go to, rivers. I mean, you can do everything you want to do out here too. You can go mountain biking, hiking, fishing, photography. You can discover stuff that is just so easy and just at your fingertips. Now, yeah, you have that stuff in the Bay Area, but I found in the Bay Area, a lot of that stuff tended to be like a little commercialized, a little bit like crazy. The pricing, just a little while ago, I went to this one oyster location in the Bay, or, in the Bay Area, and it was like, what? It was like a dozen oysters were like $70 or something like this. So you don't really have that freedom to just kind of go exploring like locations. Like here we have like, Placerville, you can go to like Apple Hill, and it's still, even though the pies are getting a little expensive, it's still one of those spots where you can explore and have fun. And one of the things I noticed about the Bay Area too, is it felt like I almost got into this idea of feeling stressed when I hit the freeway. I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I need to, buy some groceries. And I just felt about parking. It was always going to be packed. I only had a little bit of time and I had to like watch the coupons and just make sure everything was that way because of my rent. My rent was like, I don't know, like $4,000 a month. It was crazy. And it was, and I was, I was renting like part of an apartment. So for me, I knew that there was a part of me that was like, I'm not gonna be able to like afford a house or something that I wouldn't, or something that I always dreamt of. And I think a lot of times people, sometimes I run into people who feel a little guilty when they come out to Sacramento and they're looking at these amazing luxury homes. But I think the thing is, when you grow up in an area like the Bay or Los Angeles or San Diego, you get so enthralled of the idea of just getting something that when you come to an area like Sacramento and you see like a 4,000 square foot Toll Brothers home, you want it, you feel a little guilty about it, and you start thinking about the payment, and then you see what the payment looks like, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's okay to actually want this. It's okay to like pull the trigger on this. And this is kind of what I find with people I work with. There's 2 years ago, this is one of the best stories I got. A guy named Frank, he had a house in San Jose, and we ended up selling his house. And the beautiful part about this was he's like, yeah, this is a house. My parents gave it to me. I own this house. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's the greatest house, the wood floors, everything. And so then one weekend we go out there, and he was going to sell his house in San Jose for about $2 million. And we go out there and we start looking at homes for him. And we start looking at like these golf course community homes, these amazing, beautiful homes. And I kid you not, he completely forgot about his house in San Jose, and he was just enamored, with some of these homes that you have out here, because the ticket price here for $2 million, you can get pretty much whatever you want out here too. Now, I'm not saying you should go to 2 million, but I'm saying like you should have that freedom and that right to choose what you want. You can go 2 million, you can go 500,000, you can do whatever you want here in the Sacramento area, which is beautiful. This area plays towards everybody. If you are someone who wants a ranch, you can go up to Loomis, you can go to Auburn and get a ranch style home, not even a problem, or even Elk Grove. If you want to live on the golf course, you can go to Catavedera, you can go to Serrano, you can go to Whitney Oaks, you can go to so many golf course communities and live like right on the golf course. A lot of these golf course communities also, you can get something in $700,000, which is insane when you think about like communities that are on the golf course in like Danville and everything too. So Sacramento is really nice about that. So whether you're looking for that $2 million luxury home, or if you're looking for something like a $500,000 home and you're saying to yourself, I just want a place that I can afford, a place that I can call my own, a place where my kids can have their own bedrooms, their own backyard, an area where they can ride their bikes. That's my dream. Like you can have that in Sacramento. So for me, that was really appealing to me because I started freaking out. I started thinking to myself, like I'm going to have kids. We're going to be in this apartment San Francisco, and it's going to be, what are we going to do? But then we're going to try to buy a house. It's going to be too small for them. So then we're going to have to go to parks all the time and everything too. And it was, it just felt really stressful. And then around you in the Bay Area too, because it goes really, really fast in the Bay Area, you have this overwhelming kind of stress on your shoulder. You're carrying it with you. You're freaking out at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, because you just don't know what the future is, because you don't have enough money in the bank to actually make that, like, you just don't have that security, right? And so when I moved to Sacramento, mortgage prices were lower, your mortgage is lower. What you got was better and bigger. Maybe not better, I guess you could say, but like what you got was what you wanted. I guess that's where you can go with that. And then what I noticed also about Sacramento is because you have more house, right? Like let's say you're living in a 1,000 square foot house in the Bay Area, and you come up here and you buy 300 or 3,000 square foot home here with a nice sized backyard. What you're going to notice is you're not going to want to leave your house as much as you will in the Bay Area. Your house in the Bay Area might be a little tight, and you're saying to yourself, you know what? Got the kids. Let's go for a walk. Let's go to the park. Let's go exploring. Let's do this stuff. You're not going to find as much of that here in Sacramento, because you're going to have that room, a little bit more room in your house. You're going to have that backyard area where you can kind of go out in the backyard, entertain. I mean, you can get a house here with a pool for like what, $450, $500. I mean, it's not going to be an easy thing to find, but you can definitely find it. And so that was the thing about Sacramento that really appealed to me. The idea that I could get something, I could get my daughter her own kind of area bedroom. Schools are building here in Folsom and Elk Grove. Everything is new, and we're still close to Lake Tahoe, close enough to the Bay. And so for me, the appeal was so good. And I looked at other areas. I was looking at Lodi. I was looking at Manteca. I just didn't know exactly where I wanted to go. Looking Fresno, Modesto. But there was something very appealing to Sacramento. Maybe it was the fact that we got the Sacramento River, American River, Folsom Lake. Maybe it was the fact that Tahoe was so close by. Maybe it was the Amadors close by. And maybe it was also the fact that if I did get that jonesing for the Bay Area, I was just a clean shot down the 80 to go to the Bay Area. So all those things just really, for me, made Sacramento great and a great choice for me. Now, when I came in, of course, you can get yourself a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath in the Sacramento area for $400,000, like not even a problem. Good sized backyard, and you're good to go. Now that changed. I'd say we're up to maybe leapt up maybe about $250,000 around there right now. Also, the thing when I first came in, like $1 million home was like a rare thing. You're like, wow, your home worth $1 million? It was just nuts. Right now, what you're seeing is that, a lot of builders like Toll Brothers, they don't really build too much underneath $1 million. You have Shawwood, their next community in Loomis, or the Grand Bay Loomis area. They're going to be starting at over $3 million. We got custom homes, people buying pieces of land, building custom homes. They're doing all these different things in the Sacramento area that's just making this area so amazing, so fun. Now, people who grew up in Sacramento probably don't have the same feeling I do about it. A lot of people see prices going crazy, and they're like, now I can't afford Sacramento, and it's not great. And I feel your pain. I mean, I grew up with that in Marin County. I mean, it was one of those things where I graduated, went to college, came back, couldn't afford anything in Marin. So for me, I understand what you're feeling, but on the other part, for people who are moving into the area, I mean, what we're building, like schools in like Folsom, in Lincoln, in not Rockland, in West Roseville. I mean, we're building schools, a lot of schools in all these different areas. You can get yourself a brand new home that at times can be even more affordable than a resale home. We got what's called new Costco's. There's like 12 Costco's in the Sacramento area. There's a business Costco that has the best meat cuts, straight up. But yeah, Sacramento is an amazing spot to live. So for me, it was a no-brainer. And I lived here, and the heat was a little brutal during summer when I first got here for the first 3 or 4 years. But at the same time, that was my big gripe. It was like the heat. That was it. Other than that, I looked at Sacramento almost from the get-go and said to myself, this is a fantastic spot. I picked right. And I'm glad I did at 16 years back, because now I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, Sacramento is not really affordable anymore. It's not really affordable if you compare it to places like Linda, like Plumas Lake, like Yuba, like other spots. Sacramento is that secret that a lot of people don't realize exists, right? That spot where you can get, a house $500,000, $600,000. You can get something that's like close to like medical jobs and a good job economy because we have state jobs here as well too. Like we have so much stuff going for us in Sacramento that other spots in California don't have. And almost everyone I've moved in here kind of feels it. They get it. They understand it. And for us, we work really, really hard. My entire team does in making sure we place people in the right spots. We go on tours and we're driving everywhere. Just ensure that you guys are going to find that perfect spot for you. And the funniest thing is normally you'll find 2 or 3 spots that you absolutely love. You'll find 3 or 4 floor plans that you love or resale homes that you love. And that's the beauty of Sacramento. It's not a one size fit all. And I've literally not ran into that person that we couldn't fit into this area that not only fits in, but they're not settling. They're finding a house that they never thought they could afford, never thought they could buy, never thought they could get. I mean, there's been so many times that we hand keys to people. They're almost like in disbelief. They're looking at these keys, looking at the price point, looking at their mortgage payment, and thinking to themselves, I made such a good decision by moving to the Sacramento area when I did. So for me, it's really, really all positive here. All right, let's go to some of the comments. All right, Derek. All right, buy a home in West Roseville. Now, some of these areas that have been sprouting up like crazy, like New Folsom, that area is just growing like crazy. You have like some of the parts in El Dorado Hills that have been growing like crazy as well too. West Sacramento has been growing, Elk Grove, Natomas, and West Roseville. Okay, so West Roseville, and it kind of bleeds into Placer One as well too, is one of those spots where they just opened up a new Costco. They're opening up a whole bunch of new schools over there as well too. There's going to be a surf park over there in West Roseville as well too. So all these areas are just kind of developing. They're growing. They're kind of gaining steam. And so for me, I really, really am enjoying seeing all that stuff happen. Now, for someone who moves into this area, what are you looking for as far as price point goes? It all depends on what you want, right? If you're looking for a 3 and 2 and you want a resale home, if you're looking in areas like Citrus Heights, if you're looking at areas like Orangeville, Fair Oaks, you're probably somewhere in the 4 to 5s to get yourself maybe something around 1,700 square feet. Natomas the same way. Our most competitive markets, I would say, for like the 600 to 800 price points, probably going to be your Elk Grove. Always competitive, always a hot market. Now, Elk Grove is the southernmost kind of part of the Sacramento metro, and a lot of people like it because it's kind of a closer shot to the Bay Area. So Elk Grove has exploded. They've got new homes. They've got builders like Taylor Morrison, like the Risewell Homes. What's it called? They had Tim Lewis building for a while out there too. They got Lennar. They got everything. And the building is going crazy out there. There's also a lot of medical also in Elk Grove. So that area is completely crazy. Again, West Roseville, probably one of my favorite spots. Just moved in a couple people over in West Roseville, and we got a couple more that just are in the process of finishing up their Davis house, and you know who I'm talking about. And we're moving them into West Roseville as well too. So West Roseville is a great spot. Now, if you're looking for new homes and you want those incentives, and everybody always is, the areas I'd probably go to would be Rancho. I'd go to West Roseville. Those tend to be some of the best incentives right now. As far as price point goes, if you're looking for a 3 and 2, you want to keep it around the 400 mark. Probably say go to like I think it's Glenfield by JMC, and they're doing 1,400 square foot homes, 3 and 2 with nice sized backyards. Now, if you want to go in the 5s, I'd say maybe go to Willow in Rancho by Woodside, and they have some really nice homes, really nice backyards, really nice as well too. There's so many areas and so many things that are happening in the Sacramento area. So just make sure whoever you're working with knows the area really, really well. And that's a big thing. Sacramento is a driving city. So a lot of times people will get confused about like areas, right? Well, what is Sacramento? Sacramento proper comparatively towards like your Rosevilles, your Folsom. I look at the Sacramento metro area as being a little bit of El Dorado County, probably El Dorado Hills, Cameron Park, Shingle Springs, that area. And then I think like, the West Roseville area, Rockland, and the Placer County, Grant Bay and everything. And then all of Sacramento County as well too. So for me, those are the areas we cover. And, we've been doing stuff in Davis as well too. That whole area though is a driving. If you look at it on the map, what you're going to notice is we don't have that one big freeway that like circles the entire area. So we do have arteries that get a little clustered, 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock. We're talking about like Bradshaw. We're talking about Sunrise. We're talking about Hazel, Sierra College also. So one of the things about Sacramento, if I was to say pros and cons wise, would be our infrastructure has never been set up properly to accommodate the growth that Sacramento's had in the recent years. Our freeway stuff, where it seems like it's always underworked. The 50 is still being worked on. We got Placer Parkway that's under work right now too. We have the connector that's also working too. So our infrastructure isn't the best at this point in the Sacramento area. I'd say that. The other thing too is public transportation. It'd be nice to get a good solid bus system. It'd be nice to get the light rail also, the rail system that we have extended a little bit, and maybe a little bit better as far as, to accommodate more people. Because a lot of people, when I talk to about the light rail, they're like, we know we have one, we've never used it. And it'd be nice to do that, because then it would kind of take a little pressure off people when they're getting out, like 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and they're hitting the freeways. And it seems like everyone is driving. Everybody loves their cars. And so the freeways get kind of packed. If it was me also, and I'm buying into Folsom, I would say I would look at East Bidwell. That's one of those areas too, the Folsom Ranch area that has just exploded. It's one of the most popular, I'd say Folsom is probably one of the most popular kind of areas, suburbs, if you want to call it, in the Sacramento metro. Folsom is really, really hot. I'd say at least maybe like 50% of the calls we get are some way or shape, form revolving around maybe like Folsom. So Folsom is really, really popular. You got Folsom Lake. People love Vista. People love Folsom High School. People also like all the new home development that's happening on, what's it called? That one side of, you get off of the 50 and it's right there, New Folsom. Dignity's over there. You got UC Davis over there as well too. Well, no, Dignity's actually right off the freeway on the other side, but they're doing the medical extension offices as well over there too. You got you got new not restaurants. You have a new commerce center over there. You got a fire department. You have a new elementary school over there as well too. Who's building over there currently? You've got KB. You got Lennar building over there. You have Shawwood building on the hill. What you're going to see in the future too, Taylor Morrison has a new community that they're going to be building. You have Toll Brothers building Preserve, and they have two communities that are really, really nice out there as well too. Toll Brothers also have a very nice active community as well in the Folsom area. So that whole area is just going absolutely crazy. Again, my big con about that area is that it should have done infrastructure a little bit better in that area, because what we're noticing right now is that 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock, East Bidwell is a complete bear. It's hard to get out, and you see the cars lined all the way up on the off-ramp around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's not really good. It adds to a lot of aggravation, and it's not fun. All right, let's get some more comments, and then we'll get back to it. Hope I buy a beautiful home for you tomorrow. We will see. I know that home hits the market. The other thing too for you guys, there's a lot of talk of off markets and everything too. What we normally do is we keep a very good list of people and realtors. And if someone specifically is looking for a home in a specific area, we will dial for dollars and see if we can find you a home that's coming to the market. As we did for Wendy, whose house might be coming on the market on Friday, but we might be able to get her in front of that line tomorrow, which is nice. All right, Rob Thomas. The Bay is a boutique spot, excluding Solano. It's for the rich, retiree, medical workers, and tech workers. I agree. And that's kind of one of those things for me. It just is one of those things that is so hard for just a normal person working a job or someone starting out, to save money, to even fathom the idea of buying a home in San Francisco. I mean, nowadays in general, it's hard enough for someone just by themselves to buy a house anywhere in California. But in the Bay, I mean, you need to be making some really, really expensive, you need to be making a lot of money to afford a house in the Bay. And we're not even talking about an amazingly huge house. In Marin, my parents had a house there, and they ended up selling that house for like 1.5, and it was tiny, and that was a while ago too. So yeah, no, San Francisco, the Bay, unless you're making a whole lot of money, and also the lifestyle too, especially if you're going to be buying like in the San Francisco area, it's not really, as far as I see it, it's not really conducive towards those like cul-de-sac, riding the bikes, community vibes too. It just doesn't have that. In Sacramento, for 4th of July, which will be here sooner than later, you'll have people blocking off streets, we'll have barbecues, and it's really a fun community atmosphere. We always have our 4th of July party at the house. So we're going to have like probably all my wife's friends and families over, and we're going to be, barbecuing, probably putting a brisket in the Traeger. We're going to have some veggie stuff as well too. And it's going to be a fun time. But what I noticed too, and I have friends who still live in San Francisco, they have really nice spots, but it's just not really conducive towards that, like, let's get everyone in here, let's go by the pool, let's barbecue. And that's kind of my style a little bit. The other thing too to know about San Francisco or Sacramento when you're moving out here is, I would say Sacramento, the Sacramento area, and we're talking about Folsom, Roseville, everything too, we're kind of a giant suburb, right? That's the vibe here in Sacramento. Maybe if you go to Midtown, it's a little different than that. But if you're looking for that like late night craziness, you're not really going to find that in Sacramento. Sacramento is more about like family get-togethers. It's going about movie night in the park. It's about sports, and sports are absolutely crazy here. This sunburn that you see on my face, that was from swim team when I was setting up tents and doing all that stuff for my daughter's swim team. It's all about community. It's all about like sports. And, Costco definitely helps us with that. We do soccer, we do basketball, we do swimming. We got volleyball going as well too. And, we probably have a couple more that I forgot. Sports are big, and, everyone's getting together at everyone's houses. In fact, right now, as I'm doing my live, my daughter had a big swim marathon today, and she is actually in our living room with 4 of her friends, and they're watching TV. And after I'm done with this, I'll probably make some burgers for them. That's just kind of the life here in Sacramento. So if you're someone who's saying, you know what, I want to move up to Sacramento, but I really want that like nightlife, I want to go, you're going to have it, but you're probably going to have it if you travel to Sacramento or San Francisco, or maybe even Tahoe a little bit. But in Sacramento, it's Netflix, it's Amazon Prime, it's streaming services, it's barbecues, it's pool, it's family gatherings, friend gatherings. That's kind of what the whole entire atmosphere is here. Majority of the people I talk to is like, what are you doing this weekend? And they're like, we're going to go to Fair Oaks downtown. They're going to be doing a movie, and we're going to go there. We're going to go to Shangri-La, have some food. Then we're going to go over there, hang out. That's kind of the vibe here in Sacramento. For me, there's a lot of bike riding. I'm always on my beach cruiser with my daughter as well too. That's just kind of the vibe there is in Sacramento, which for me is like ideal. All right, let's get into some more stuff. Boom. I'd rather live in the worst part of the Sacramento area over any place in the Bay Area. I'm 100% with you. And the thing for me is, the Bay was, the food there was nice. The atmosphere was nice, but it was just a stress sandwich that you feel when you're in the Bay. It's just that idea that for me, like whenever I go to the Bay Area, whenever, dreaded going to Pier 39 or, the tourist spots, I mean, parking is crazy, then I went to Golden Gate Park, and I was sitting there in traffic just to go to a parking lot underneath the museum. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. Even if you go downtown to downtown San Francisco, where you're cruising around the plaza trying to go underneath, it's just stress. It's not only that. I mean, my mother and my brother live in Walnut Creek. And whenever I'm driving out there as well too, it's just, you feel the traffic. The traffic is brutal. I mean, I might complain now and again about traffic here in Sacramento, but it is not even close to what people feel in the Bay Area. Bay Area traffic is brutal. LA traffic is a nightmare. You just don't feel that here. The other thing too I noticed about Sacramento is that, for example, right now, if my wife was like, hey, you got to go to Roseville, to the Galleria, the Apple Store to buy a new iPhone, let's just say, right? I wouldn't be sweating it. I wouldn't be going, I got to go in traffic. I got the freeway. I got to do this. I got to do this. Then I got to park. Then I got to do that. It's not that much of a hassle here. You don't have that stress that you feel in the Bay Area. The other thing too about the Bay Area is just that because it's so spendy, because you're always spending money on like movies, on parking, on gas, on restaurants, on everything like that, like it just doesn't allow you to have that cushion in your bank account that you could have here. Now, one thing people are going to say is, well, you make less in Sacramento. Yeah, but if you're smart about it, you do your shopping at Costco, and you just don't go to those like San Francisco restaurants or go to those parking garages that charge like $100 a day, like you'll be okay. Like what I found here is, yes, I was making less in Sacramento than I was in the Bay, but I ended up saving more just because the habits here were more based around like going for walks, going for hikes, hanging out with my family, watching movies, barbecuing and everything too. And for me, one was the stress level was way low, and two is my bank account was doing way better, even though I was making less money here. So for me, that's just kind of what I felt. And yeah, I'm with Ivan 100%. Bay Area for me, I had an option at some point to buy my mother's house also and to move back to Marin County. I just chose not to because, what I have here, it may be even like half the price of what my mom's house sold for, gave me more, like in that for me is crazy. I have a pool, I have a house, I have space enough for entertaining. It's everything that I always wanted, but living in the Bay Area, I never really felt like that was feasible. I never felt like that could be like, something for me. And I know a lot of people, it's so funny when they come up and they take their first tour here, there's always one of the people in the couple that is like, I'm not moving to Sacramento. There's no way I'm moving to Sacramento. It's not going to happen. I'm just not going to do it. And then they start looking at the homes here. They start looking at some of these homes and they start comparing the homes to what they have in the Bay. And they start thinking to themselves, well, how often are we really going out to restaurants? Okay. The parking situation here, we can park wherever we want to park. Okay. Historically, right now, we're seeing a big boom in the Sacramento area with all the new homes, new schools, and it just becomes kind of a no-brainer as the tour progresses. They start seeing stuff that, truthfully, they probably never thought they could afford. And everyone always does the same thing. Like we'll go to a Toll Brothers home and you'll see a Toll Brothers home for maybe like beautiful, like 4,000 square foot home, nice backyard. You'll see it for like maybe 1.5. And everyone always looks at me and goes like, this in the Bay Area would be something like $6 million. I'm like, I know, absolutely 100%. And a lot of people also who are renting, come here and they'll see a house for like 550. And they'll look at the space, look at the backyard, look at the location, and they'll just kind of have this like gleam in their eyes and just go like, that could be my house. And so we work with a lot of people because of YouTube, a lot of relos that are coming into the area, and it's nice. And it's nice to work with people that I kind of see how I was when I first got here, how I was kind of pessimistic about Sacramento, how I was discounting it, how I was saying like, Sacramento is hot. I just, it's not where I want to be. All my friends are going to tell me, what are you doing moving to Sacramento? And I had that huge chip on my shoulder when I made the move here, when I was looking around. And Sacramento is a surprise place. You'll look at it, you'll explore it, and before you know it, you're not just moving here because it's affordable, but you're moving here because this area and this location in California is such a great spot for community vibe, for growth potential, for getting a new home, for getting a resale home, for location to Tahoe, location to the Sierras, exploring, mountain biking, hiking, fishing, everything that you've always wanted to do, but you just kind of felt like, it's kind of a hassle. It's not. I mean, right now for me, I live in Gold River and you can go down Gold Country Boulevard. You can basically go all the way down to the aquatic center. I could do this tomorrow. I think it's like $25, get myself a kayak, get myself a paddleboard, and I'm off and I'm gone. I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing. I mean, I could talk to my daughter tonight and say, hey, look, tomorrow morning, let's go paddleboarding for the day and let's go. And we're done. It's easy. It's like at our fingertips. Those are things for me that I just wasn't able to do in the Bay. There were some nice places like Stinson Beach, my favorite beach. But it was also a drive. It was a schlep to get out there, and you never knew if it was sunny, if it wasn't. It was just, always trafficy to get out there as well too. Or you can make the trip to the Bay. I lived in Marin and, I was like, all right, let's go see a Giants game. As much as that's awesome, you got to deal with parking. You got to deal with food. You got to deal with like so much expense. And for me, and I'm probably going to be in the minority here, I would much rather see a baseball game or see the World Cup in my big TV, maybe even outside in my pool, than, trek out and spend a lot of money to do that. And that's just my own thing. And that's kind of one of the things I love about the Sacramento area, because you can actually have those setups, right? A lot of people I know have those TVs in the backyard. They have the whole resort vibe. And you'd think that it would cost millions and millions of dollars to have these backyards. And honestly, it's a fraction of the price. So that's one of the things about Sacramento as well, too. If that's something that you've always wanted to have, a resort style backyard, you can definitely have it. A lot of people here in Sacramento probably take that stuff for granted, but yeah, 100%. And because Sacramento is hot, you can enjoy these resort style backyards 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. It's actually pretty fun. All right, let's get some more stuff. All right. or Sacramento is improving the bus system, that'll be huge. If Sacramento can improve our transit system, it is going to be absolutely huge. Right now, what you're noticing is that the traffic is a bear, but if you look at the people driving, it's all usually like one person in their car. And if we can set some sort of bus system up, if we could even somehow have a transit system in like the Folsom Ranch area alone, I mean, that'd be amazing. It would just be crazy. Bus system, light rail, but if we can get those things set up, the infrastructure, again, appreciation from homes, because that's one of the things a lot of people, look at Sacramento and go, how do we get from, Rockland all the way to El Dorado Hills? And I'm like, that's about an hour, sometimes depending on like traffic, depending on time of day. It would be very much nicer if, we could improve rapid transit. If we could just have a bus system that was reliable, dependable, clean, and like everywhere that we could access, I think a lot of people would love that as well too. So for me, yeah, again, that's probably one of the biggest infrastructure, and public transit is probably the biggest Achilles heel that Sacramento has. But if we can actually improve that, if we can improve stuff like even the Amtrak coming in from the Bay Area to the Sacramento area, like multiple locations around Sacramento, and make it a little bit easier for people to commute to the Bay if they need to. All those things hopefully will be coming in the future, because those are things that will put us on a whole different level as well. All right. I'm gonna go home and own a home and live in Roseville. Just visit SF. Yeah, is it funny though? I'll tell you something, Derek. If you're anything like me, occasionally I visit the Bay. Occasionally I'll go see my mom in Walnut Creek, but I'm always itching to get home. It's so nice when you're driving back in Sacramento and all of a sudden it gets quiet. You don't have that insanity of the Bay. You just pull into your street, your cul-de-sac, your area where it's quiet, tranquil. There's like street parking if you want it. You just drive on in, go to the backyard, and you just don't hear anything. I mean, and for me, the Bay Area just seems like it's always loud. So yeah, I'm a big fan of coming home. All right, how slow is Sac's non-luxury market currently, new and existing? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the market right now. It's very area specific. I'd say some spots like Folsom are still pretty hot. Some spots of El Dorado Hills are still pretty hot, like Serrano and everything. I would say if you're talking about non-luxury areas or something maybe in the 5s or 6s, I'd say the most competitive market that's still going would probably be Elk Grove. I think Natomas is slow right now. I think Fair Oaks, Citrus Heights, Orangevale, Rancho, I think they're slow as well too. I think that it depends on pricing. And I think sellers right now are pricing a little too high. I think they were thinking to themselves, demand would be a lot more stronger than it is right now too. So as right now, I would say it's just slow. Now in the new home communities, what I'm finding is the incentives aren't as good as they were earlier this year. But again, I think a lot of these new homes too are really understanding the idea that, they can play around with the price. Now, what I mean by that is if you look at new homes, right, historically speaking, unless you're Lennar, and that's all bets off. But if you look new home wise, maybe about a year ago, they started to do this thing where instead of giving crazy buy downs, crazy stuff like this, they're actually working with the price. And so what you've noticed now is that price isn't something that is taboo. Before it was. Price was something that new homes about a year ago would not even touch. They say, we work with you on finishes, lot premiums, solar, all that stuff too, but we cannot touch the price. And now what you're seeing more than not is there is a little flexibility on the price of the homes, but the incentives aren't as good as they were before. The incentives are still fine and they're still beating resale. But what I'm seeing right now is new homes, what they're doing is they're just trying to edge out resale by a bit, but they're not trying to blow them away. I mean, back in the day, KHA was throwing out a 3.499. Richmond American, I think, was throwing out a 3.75. And you're not seeing that as much. But you are seeing prices that are a little bit more competitive. Like, again, Glenview over JMC. I mean, you're seeing 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes with nice big backyards in the 4s, which is really, really odd. Amazing community over there, too. So I'm seeing new homes lowering their prices just a little bit to get the demand going. Even though the demand, I don't think, is what they thought it would be right now. I think you can still get good deals at new homes, but I also think you need to identify the deals when you see it, because a lot of times what you're going to notice with new homes is they do some weird stuff. Like, we were in the situation where we were Toll Brothers, and they had this house that was sitting at a certain price point. Now, you'd think Toll Brothers would say, okay, we're going to reduce the price, but they actually increase the price. And so new homes are interesting because you really have to know what pricing, like if you're seeing like a model, right? Let's say you're going to Toll Brothers and you see a Ramona floor plan, and you really have to know the history of the other ones that have sold previously to know exactly what the pricing should be. New homes at this point, I don't think really understand what's going on. I think they're trying to make their margins. I think they're reducing prices. They're kind of playing around a little bit more with not giving as much incentives. But for me, if I'm looking to buy right now, I think you can get deals in this market. I think, though, you have to analyze each community, each area. For example, like Folsom, like I said, is still pretty hot. Elk Grove is still pretty hot. West Sacramento is actually relatively hot as well, too. Natomas is a little slow. Rosemont, College Glen area is slow. Orangevale, Citrus, Carmichael, Fair Oaks, they're all a little bit slow as well, too. Antelope's a little bit slow as well. Because a lot of people at that price point that they're looking at, like let's say like a 450 to a 650, a lot of them also are going to like Cahove. They're going to go to Woodside. They're going to go to like Beezer, and they're going to go there. And even though the incentives aren't as great as they were maybe 6 months ago, they're still edging out the resale homes. So as far as demand goes for the non-luxury, I would say, okay, demand for the non-luxury new, I would say it's still pretty good, but not to the point of no quick move-ins. You're going to probably see each builder that's going to have at least 1 or 2 quick move-ins. Now, the resale front, I think the non-luxury stuff is sitting. I think we're seeing a lot of the houses that I see that are flying are the ones in areas like the Folsoms, Elk Groves, historically spots, or East Sacramento too, historically spots that have always held high demand. I'd say some of the spots that I'm seeing like resale, like where I would go if I'm looking for like a 3-2 or 4-2, I'd be looking at like Fair Oaks, Orangevale, Carmichael, Citrus, Natomas, Rosemont, College Glen area. I'd even be looking at, what else would I be looking at? Where would I go? Yeah, no, those are the areas I probably look at right now. Now, if there's someone here in Sacramento, though, who's thinking to themselves, you know, I'm looking maybe in the 3s, and they're not seeing what they're looking for. Again, my biggest area that I would go to would probably be Plumas Lake and Linda. Linda is about maybe 30 minutes from Roseville, but you can get a brand new home probably in the 3s. With LGI as well too. So there are options. You just kind of have to know where to look. And that goes back to like what I was saying about the Sacramento area. I love the area. I love the growth potential here as well too. I think if you're looking for those Sacramento prices that were there back when, I first got here, I'd say, yeah, Linda, Plumas Lake, Yuba, that's where that pricing is currently right now. Our pricing has just got to the level where, if anyone puts affordable in a thumbnail on YouTube, it's almost laughable at this point, even myself, because, affordable what? Compared to people moving in from Texas? Absolutely. People moving in from like Oklahoma? Absolutely. But people in California, understand that, or, sorry, one more time. Reverse. Okay, so for people moving from Texas, it's not affordable. For people moving from Florida to California, it's not affordable. Apologies, it's been a long day. So affordable, is Sacramento affordable? Yeah, I think it's affordable for people who are moving from California, from areas like the Bay Area, Los Angeles. I think Sacramento is still relatively affordable, right? Comparatively towards what else is available in California. But if you're someone coming in from Texas, someone coming in from Florida, someone coming in from another state, I think Sacramento is not going to beat, or not going to be the affordable option, right? I think if you're someone coming in from let's say from Texas, someone coming in from Florida, I think if you looked at Sacramento, I think the prices definitely wouldn't look affordable to you. I think you'd be looking in areas like, maybe like your Plumas Lake and your Linda. Those areas would be a little bit more affordable and doable. Now, for people who live in California, like the Bay, Los Angeles, moving to Sacramento, 100%. We are definitely the best bang for your buck for the California lifestyle for people who are moving from another part of California to here. 100%.
We got another one. Derek, what scares me most is that there are too many houses being built in Sacramento area. I'm afraid some of it might become a ghost town. The crazy part is, and this is something that I think a lot of people get nervous about, because you have to understand here in Sacramento, we've been in this ever since COVID. New home communities are big business here, and they've been building a whole bunch of new homes. I mean, we're talking like 15,000 Folsom, 15,000 in Rancho, Vineyard, Elk Grove, West Sacramento. We're building we're building so many new homes, it's not even funny. And Lincoln also, they did Liberty at Lincoln, and they're building more new homes over there. You got new areas like Bickford Ranch, Placer One that are sprouting up, which is just a whole bunch of new homes. Now, currently right now, how I look at it, Derek, and hopefully this makes you feel a little bit better. In my humble opinion, even though people will say, oh, interest rates, yada, yada, interest rates didn't really come down that much. Like people thought at this point we'd have a couple rate cuts, we'd be good to go. Rates are still relatively high. And you're seeing communities like Glenfield, the one at Glenfield at JMC, the Placer One, they don't really have any standing inventory. Shawwood right now, they told me they pretty much don't have any inventory as well too up there too. They have a few houses left. Taylor Morrison is looking for more land as well too. So there aren't any communities that I know of right now that are hurting so bad that they have 10 to 12 to 13 quick move-ins. Majority of these home builders, majority of these communities will have maybe 2 or 3 quick move-ins, but that's it. You got Tri-Point and Rancho, and they're just building dirt right now as well too. So I think that what I've seen currently is that the market isn't fantastic for buyers, but new homes are still selling relatively well. The thing about new homes is that if you put a new home against resale home, for bang for your buck and, affordability, because the incentives and new homes are still going to get the nod. So I still think our new homes are moving. I still think people are buying them. I think people love the idea of having the big floor or the great room floor plan. I think people love the idea that a lot of the new homes are built with better insulation. They have solar and they're just pretty. And so people really love the new homes. And if you're someone coming in and you're saying to yourself, you know what, this is my first home, or I'm looking to buy something, and you find, let's say, a builder like Tri-Point that can get you $60,000 off, closing costs or buying down your rate, and you see that monthly against resale, it's almost like a no-brainer. And of course, there is Melrose, so you have to factor that in. But still, at that point, with the Melrose, you're going to get brand new schools, police departments, fire departments, parks, and everything too, that when we show people new homes, when we show people resale homes, it's just a no-brainer. The new homes are definitely getting the edge without a doubt. All right. Devin. Okay, fellow Sax peeps, don't sleep on some of the areas of Notomis. Bang for your buck, and Mark and Michelle or your crew to make it happen. Thanks, brother. No problem. Devin, that house, told you, car people who take good care of their cars, take good care of their homes. That house, I kid you not, that space in that house, that backyard you got, oof, man, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. It's so funny. I was talking to Michelle the second we walked in there, and I was like, yeah, this is crazy. It seems like you're actually moving from you're trying to almost downsize, but you kind of got something that's even better because it's a single story, open floor plan in there as well too. I mean, I think you lucked out. I love that house. I told you that from the second we saw that house too. I thought it was a winner. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited. And now we got to work on your Curtis Park house. So yeah, it's all good, man. I'm super excited for you. Yeah, no, it's good. I love these type of stories too, because we were looking at stuff and you were the coolest, most mellow, relaxed person to work with too. But at the same time, what we ended up getting you makes me smile as well too, because I think that it was more than you thought that you'd be able to get. And so, yeah, those are the best, saying, I don't know. It works for me. All right, guys, let me think. We might actually call it a little early tonight. All right. So what can I say about Sacramento's future? I would say if you're looking to move into Sacramento and you're saying to yourself, I kind of wish I would have moved in there 16 years ago when prices were a little bit more affordable. I do feel that Sacramento prices are probably just going to go up. I think the idea is that with all these new homes being built, Melrose is coming in. We're going to see new schools, new parks, new commercial centers being built as well too. Hopefully our infrastructure gets put in a good place as well, which it seems like we're going in that direction, but that's always hit and miss. I'd say with the water park coming in West Roseville, I think again, rail yards project, all these things that are happening in the Sacramento area, the growth potential is there. I mean, the potential of Sacramento is nuts because if you think about it this way, with all these brand new homes that are being built, people are going to be paying Melrose. With that Melrose, that's going to mean new parks, new schools, fire departments, police departments, and eventually these big old communities like in Folsom Ranch, there's going to be a whole bunch of commercial being developed over there too. In fact, I heard rumor that in Folsom Ranch, they have the best pizza slices in all the Sacramento area. So for me, I love it. I think the area is growing. I think it's developing. I think in the future, prices are probably going to go up because I think the area is just unbelievable. Other thing about the market right now is the market is slow. Interest rates aren't fantastic. And people are still moving into Sacramento. Yes, it's a bit slow, but it's still moving. There's still people moving into like Folsom, Roseville, Lincoln. We just, put someone in Folsom Ranch as well too. So things are moving and everything. So I'm very optimistic about the market. I'm very optimistic about Sacramento. I would say if you're someone from the Bay Area and you're saying to yourself, I've been watching these videos. I wonder if they're hype. I would say come out here. Just come out here for a weekend. Maybe not even talk to a realtor at this point. Go to some of the open houses, go to some new homes. And I know you have to go with a realtor. You don't have to. Go and just check it out for yourself and see what you can get. Run some numbers. See if this is something that makes sense for you. For me, I'll tell you, don't sleep on Sacramento. Do not sleep on Sacramento because I just see prices going up. I see this area transforming. I think our location's fantastic. I think all these new projects coming in are crazy. Where can you get a brand new home anywhere in California that at times is even more affordable than a resale home? I mean, I don't know if there's another spot. And if you get here in Sacramento and you start enjoying yourself, if you want a little bit of a bougie vibe, go up to the town center in El Dorado Hills. If you want a little bit more of that, like on the river, go to Old Folsom and go right there. If you want to go to Cars and Coffee and see my buddy Corey, who's on the show sometime, 7 a.m., he's doing Cars and Coffee. There's so many things to do here in Sacramento. All right. Almost every single city in the Bay Area, over 100,000 lost population, while every city in the greater... I apologize. Let me try one more time. Almost every single city in the Bay Area, over 100,000 lost population, while every city in the greater Sacramento gained people. People are moving up here in droves. I'm with you. I think our area, the biggest disconnect, I think, for some people is they're like, thinking of Sacramento and they've never been here. They don't know Sacramento and they're having this vision of flat, hot, I'm just not doing it. I'm telling you guys, don't do that to yourself. That was me. And I wish I would have moved a whole lot sooner. I could got myself a nice house in Los Lagos for like $550, but I didn't. I waited. I just was just hearing what other people were saying. I didn't explore for myself. Come up here, take a weekend, and figure out why. Why people are moving in, why all these cities, all these suburbs are gaining more people, while all these areas in the Bay are losing them. This is where everybody is coming. I mean, those are stats, it's just the way it is. If it was me and I'm sitting to myself, you know what? I just don't know if Sacramento's the spot for me. All it takes is a drive, a weekend, going up there and figuring it out. There's Airbnbs here. There's nice hotels here. You can go to sushi. You can go downtown. You can have a good vibe here. My team plans amazing tours as well too. If you guys want some dinner recommendations, if you want some things to check out, if you're golfers and you like golf courses, let us know. We do all that as well too. But don't sleep on Sacramento because the growth of Sacramento is just going to keep going and going and going. In a market right now, like a real estate market, like it is right now in the nation where we're at war, gas prices are high and everything too. Markets like Houston, Phoenix, Las Vegas aren't doing fantastic. We're still building, we're still growing, we're still selling houses, and we're still moving forward. And that's really, really a lot to be said about this time of the year, this time of the market, this type of everything. I mean, we're still going. I mean, if you look at our stats, people are still moving in. People are still loving the Sacramento area. So if you want to, I would say come out here before it's too late. And all of a sudden, Sacramento is so unaffordable that it might be hard to jump in. For me, again, I'm super glad that I made it out here. I'm super glad that I don't know, took the chance, saw what Sacramento had to offer, because for me, you know, I look at like the life I have here, the life I'm able to give my family here, the friends I've met, the community vibe that I'm with right now too. And I said to myself, like, you know, that wouldn't have happened if I didn't take the chance in, you know, checking out Sacramento and seeing what Sacramento was all about. And again, I didn't even move into Sacramento proper. I was looking at Folsom, I was looking at Lincoln, Cameron Park. I was looking at all these areas and I found my spot, you know, an area, Gold River. Yes, the HOAs can be a little bit of a bear here, but it's absolutely beautiful. So I think for you, you should definitely, you know, come out here and figure it out. Derek, you should invite Jason from Nurses to Riches from to share how awesome Sacramento is for nurses. I would love to. His channel is crazy. Yeah. If you know Jason, let me know. I'd love to connect with him. I also want to bring on some people from other areas. I actually have a realtor from the Marysville, Yuba area that I want to bring on, and we're going to do a little Pepsi challenge between Yuba County and Sacramento County. I want to bring on some Florida realtors. I want to bring on some Texas realtors as well too. Because I think that'd be fun for us to kind of see what the market difference is. So that's it, guys. That is the show for the night. If you guys enjoyed it, smash that like button. This is a live show too. So if I'm doing a lot of ums or if I, you know, get a little tired, it's because we've been going for about an hour. And I truly believe that a live show with people talking, studio audience and everything too is going to be the best way to judge an area in real time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. If you're new to the show, new to the program, understand that next Wednesday I will be on live again and I'll probably bring on a guest. All right, guys, have a good one. Stay cool. It is getting hot here in Sacramento. Okay, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the show tonight. Buying and selling is stressful. I mean, there are definitely different avenues you can go in, and there's no guarantee. Every property is different, whether you're looking to buy it or sell it. So reach out to our team and we can talk to you a little bit about the pros and cons of selling currently, what your house is valued at and all that stuff too. There's a link below to schedule a call. Now, if you're thinking about moving to the area, guys, reach out to our team as well. We're working with a lot of people relocating them to the Sacramento area. We absolutely love it. There's a Zoom link below. Set up a time where we can talk to you a little bit about what your needs are. Now, if you enjoyed this live broadcast, smash that like button. We would love to talk to you a little bit about Sacramento. I mean, we always are out and about. So if you're looking at places like El Dorado, Roseville, Rockland, Davis, we got you covered. Just reach out to us. And maybe you don't want to do a Zoom call, so just hit me at my phone number on the banner and we can talk a little Sacramento. Now, guys, one last thing before I go, there's a playlist right over there of other videos I've done about the Sacramento area. Knowledge is power. Those videos will help you kind of make a decision if Sacramento is that spot for you and you want to take it to the next stage. All right, guys, this is Mark. Have a good one. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next video.